This is my review on The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I'm going to warn you, this is probably going to be one of my quicker reviews because it was okay. I'd probably give it like 3 stars. Gone Girl is like 10 times better than this book. But, 3 stars. I'll just do a quick review. First off, a new synopsis on it. Basically, it is about a girl who rides the train on a daily basis, and she passes this suburbia land with all these houses, and she creates this imaginary life for these 2 characters. And then she sees something one day with one of the characters, and shortly thereafter, the woman disappears. So she feels the need to go to the police and tell them what she saw, and everybody thinks that she's crazy, when in reality she's the most sane out of every character in this book. I'm not even kidding you. They're all freaking nuts, okay? And I'll tell you why in a second, but first off, spoilers are coming up, so if you haven't read the book yet, just go away for now and then you can watch it later unless you want to spoil this for yourself. Go right ahead. So, first off, we have Rachel, who is the main character, the girl who rides the train. Between her, Anne, and Megan, all 3 of those characters are going to be the ones who are narrating the story. Megan is the one who disappears. Anna is Rachel's ex-husband's new wife, and Rachel is the main character. Rachel is an alcoholic who was emotionally and physically abused by her ex-husband and doesn't know that she was emotionally and physically abused by her ex-husband, which is infuriating because there were so many signs. But when you're in a position like that, you're not going to know. You got no idea, okay? She's an alcoholic. She blacks out. He would twist her words into making her think that it was her that was being physically and emotionally abusive, when really it was him the entire time. So, there's Rachel, the alcoholic. There's Anna, the... Nobody likes Anna. No, yeah, you might have a little sympathy for her at the end, but I don't like her. I didn't like her character at all. She was bad. She was bad. She needed soap in her mouth. She needed to have soap in her mouth, and she needed to be like, I don't even know, man. She's just a terrible human being. Anna, who is the new wife of Tom, who is the psychopath and the liar, and who is Rachel's ex-husband, and who throughout the book, she kind of makes him out to be this good guy who talks shit behind people's backs, but there's just like little things about him. He's kind of in the background, kind of. Like, most of the time you only see him when he's interacting with Rachel or when he's interacting with Anna. So you don't quite catch on that he's a freaking nut job until the end. Unless you are one of those people who are able to catch on to those things. So there's those characters, and then there's Scott, who is Megan's husband, who's controlling, who's probably a little bit emotionally abusive, I would say, and who is very suspicious of his wife, like all the time. He's like, who's that person, and why do you live with her? And he's like constantly checking on her computer. He's got problems, man. And he's also physically abusive. Later on, we find out he's physically abusive in one instance. And then there's Megan, who has all these terrible secrets from her husband, just like sinister inside of her, just sitting there boiling and simmering. And she accidentally killed her infant when she was 18 years old, who he has no idea about. It's like, what in the world? And she had an affair with her neighbor, Tom, Anna's husband. Oh dear. And got pregnant. She was impregnated by him. And she also had an affair with her therapist, who is Abdique, who's probably, besides Rachel, the most innocent out of all the characters. I mean, he does sleep with a married woman, but that seems pretty... That seems pretty innocent compared to everybody else. For some reason. It really just, all of them are all black, and crusty, and like, there's slime all over, and they're nasty. All of them. I liked Rachel, actually. I felt bad for Rachel. And, did I miss anybody? No, I think I described all the characters. So there's that. Tom ends up being a psychopathic killer who murders Megan because she won't leave him alone about her pregnancy, and also because he had just physically abused Rachel right before that when she was in what are you doing, Zorro? When she was in a blackout mode. And so he's enraged by that, and then he ends up going after Megan and killing her and saying, "See what you've made me do," and yeah, it's awful. It didn't really enrage me like other books. Like, I was able to figure it out. I was definitely able to figure it out. It wasn't that hard to figure it out. You have to, I don't know if any of you noticed, but you have to really watch what Megan says, because you're not quite sure if she's talking about Abdique. Because there are times where she's very, she's not very clear on who she's talking about when she's talking about an affair. So, there's that, and that kind of led me to think, I didn't think that she was having an affair with Tom, but I definitely thought that something was wrong with Tom, because he was way too, like, portrayed as, like, innocent in the whole thing, which is kind of how he shows himself. I liked how she portrayed Rachel, and I liked that, not that it was a good thing, but it was interesting how she created Rachel to be this character who had absolutely no idea about the abuse. She was completely blind to it because of her alcoholism. Which, by the way, started because they were trying to have a child, and then she couldn't have a child because she was sterile. That sucks, man. I didn't like that all the characters were they seemed kind of one-dimensional to me, like there was nothing else about them besides this one dimension of Rachel's an alcoholic who's been abused, and Anna is just a terrible human being who's very protective of her daughter, and Tom is just a psycho, and Megan is kind of psychotic too, and Scott's controlling, and it's just, it was very one-dimensional for me. I don't know if I'd recommend it to other people to read. I mean, it might be a fun, quick read for some people, but, it was okay for me. Would I read another Paula Hawkins? Maybe. If it was like, if I had 1,000,001 people telling me, "Oh my god, you have to read this book now!" then yeah, I might give it a try. Peer pressure. I don't know, man. So, my next book to review is probably going to be Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, unless I finish City of Bones first. I am doing the Shadowhunters read-along right now, and I've never read the series, but it's amazing. There's so much good about that series. It's like, there's a lot of young adult books out there that are really good, that are completely underrated, and people who say that adults should not read young adult books, you know what? I throw my cup at you. I don't know what that means, but I just throw my cup at you, because you're insolent. You're just, no. I can read whatever I want, and some young adult books, by the way, are 10 times better than adult books, just saying. Anyway, that is all for tonight. I am exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed. You all have a good night, and I will see you next time.